Welcome everyone. This is Asghar Golizadeh, chess grandmaster, FIDE senior trainer, and PhD of exercise physiology. Today, we are going to see and we are going to have one important lesson together, the biggest mistakes under 1000 ratings usually doing. Taking the free pawns. Okay, I want to ask you a question, and I'm going to start by that. How many times, have you seen a free pawn and thought that, oh, it's a free pawn, let's take it? Thank you very much. Of course, I'll take it. And then 5 moves after that, what's happening? Your queen is trapped, and somehow your king is under attack, or you are simply getting checkmated in the game. So if this is happening to you, don't worry. I'm here to fix this for you. Because today we are starting a brand new series, Biggest Mistakes Under 1000 Players Usually Making. In this series, we are going to fix the mistakes that the keep beginners doing in their games and these mistakes making them to stuck under 1000 rating. And today mistake is one of the biggest rating killers. Of course, taking the every free pounds. I have coached hundreds of students so far until today, and I can tell you one important thing. Under 1000 rating, players love pounds. Absolutely. They see a free pound, of course, they cannot control themselves, and they completely forget about everything else on the chessboard. Okay, this is what's happening. So, why do we love the pounds? Of course, we have to know the reason. Actually, this is very natural for all of us. When we first learn the chess, we are told that pounds equal 1 pound, and actually we are searching for a point. So knights equal 3, bishop equals 3, so the rook equals 5, and the queen equals 9. So our brain is starting to think like, if I win a pawn, I'm winning a material. If I win material, I should be winning. I can win the game. So sounds logical, correct? The problem is, chess is not only about a material. All of us, we should know and remember this. Chess is also about king safety, development, initiative, peace activity, and of course, tactics. So sometimes one extra pawn means absolutely nothing. And sometimes that little pawn becomes the most expensive pawn you've ever taken in your game. So, uh, let's go a little further. I want to tell you some story of from my own coaching career. I cannot count how many times my student came to me and proudly said, "Coach, I want a pawn," or maybe they say, "I wanted 2 pounds in the opening." I looked at the position and somehow I asked, "Okay, but where is your king?" So I see still in the center. "Where are your pieces?" I see still sleeping on the back rank. "Why are all of the white pieces attacking you?" What can I say? After the 5 moves, I can see checkmate. So the extra pawns never mattered. This happens all the time under 1000 rating. Players become too much greedy for taking that simple 1 pawn. And remember, greed is dangerous in chess. So I want to show you some examples here. So by learning these examples, you will have practical advices to see how we can avoid these kind of mistakes. Let me show you some opening options. For example, we have some openings like I will start by e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. These are normal developing moves usually we are trying to have. After bishop c4, so we're expecting our opponent to play bishop c5, or he can play just normally knight f6. Okay, I will start by knight f6 move, and after knight g5, white is aiming for the important f7 pawn. For example, I'm going to show you one of the important lines here. Black will place d5 after pawn d5. Okay, Main theory suggests for black to go for knight a5 attack the bishop, or either to play knight d4. But many beginners with black immediately plays knight takes d5. Why? Because they think, great, I want my pawn back. So, but white has a tactical idea here. What can white do here? White can take on the f7, and then, okay, of course, it's a fork. The knight attacks the king and the rook. Suddenly, black loses the material and gets a very, very bad position. So what happened? So you have to take, queen comes f3 with check. So now you are seeing that, okay, now if the king goes back, I'm losing the same knight like back, and I lost the pawn that from the f7 square. So the position is becoming too much difficult for black. Maybe black's best chance is to go to e6, and now after knight c3, white has a huge chances to attack and catch the opponent king. I'm not going to tell you about the opening story of this line, just want to show you, look at to the position what happened. From one pawn we reached to a what position. So here black became completely greedy, saw a pawn and stopped calculating. This is one of the biggest mistakes under 1000 ratings usually do. So what lesson we can get from this example? Whenever you see a free pawn, don't ask, can I take it? But please ask yourself, what happens after I take it? This is actually more important than the others. Let's go for a new example, because already we did some videos about the Scotch Gambit also. I will try to show you some Scotch Gambit examples, like after knight c6, white will place d4 here. This is the normal variation. After e takes d4, we will play bishop c4. Now we are entering to the Scotch Gambit variation. So black will place bishop c5. This is normally one of the main lines. And after c3, now many beginners with black gets excited. Oh, there's another free pawn. I won a 1 pawn, and there's another free pawn. I can win another pawn. And just they play immediately d takes c3. Okay, it's a 2 pawns. Amazing. Or maybe not. So what happens? White simply, either if I capture back knight takes c3, I like white position totally. But I want to tell you, what danger is threatening black here. White will capture the f7 pawn check. If you capture with the king, now I can play queen d5 check. If you just come back with the king, any square, so I can take the bishop back. So what happened? You cannot make a castling anymore. So now your position is becoming more difficult to handle. So meanwhile, black has spent a lot of time grabbing that pawn. You see how development is there? So he cannot make any good development moves. Black won a pawn, but lost the development, lost the initiative. And lots of cases, he will lose the game too. So here is another important lesson I want to tell you. A pawn is, of course, worth 1 point, but initiative can be worth much more than 1 point. King safety can be worth more than 1 point, or development can be worth more than 1 point. Strong players understand this correctly, and beginners often they don't. So another example I want to show you. This is little tricky one. Let me show you one of the interesting examples. So for example, after e4, black starts to play move like d6. White has played, this is the Pirc defense. After d4, black is starting knight f6. White continues knight c3, developing and just controlling the pawn on e4. Looks like a normal option for white. And now black plays normal move like c6. And after moves like bishop e3, black is trying to attack white center with queen b6. It's not only attacking the center, it's attacking the b2 pawn. Okay, so what white is doing here, I want to show you one interesting line. White is playing simple a3. Just look at this position. Many beginners starting seeing this pawn, oh, it's a free pawn again. I can take that free pawn. I can capture it easily. Too much excited, correct? But actually, it's a poisoned pawn. If you take the b2 pawn, what white is going to do here? White is going to put the knight on a4, and now your queen doesn't have any square to just come back. And you can see now the idea of the move a3. Because like here, if I make any move, like any move, after queen takes b2, knight a4, the queen has a3 square to run back here. But after making this a3, it's a very tricky move. You don't understand what the opponent is doing here. You just simply see the free pawn. Oh, it's a free pawn. That's it. I will take the free pawn, finish. And then suddenly, opponent puts the knight on a4, and you will lose the game. So now our queen is trapped. We will lose the game also because there is no escaping route for us. So like this is happening, and we are putting ourselves into a big trouble. So from today, I want you to ask yourself 3 important questions before taking any pawn. Question number 1, is my piece safe? This is the first question you have to ask yourself. If I take this pawn, can my piece like become trapped? Or can my opponent attack it? Or can I get back safely? This is the first question. You should all the time ask yourself this one. Question number 2, what does my opponent want to do? Generally, like nobody gives away a pawn for free. Try to understand this concept. It's very important. Like there is usually a reason. Maybe it's a trap. Maybe they want to open a file. Maybe they want to gain a time. Always ask yourself, why did my opponent allow this? So this is basically, you will find out a like good solution. Otherwise, okay, you can take the pawn. And question number 3, what changed after I take the pawn? So for example, will my king become weaker? Or will I lose development? Or am I going to open up dangerous lines to my opponent? Or will my opponent get an attack? So many questions. Or for example, like is he going to get an initiative? Can I make my castling then? So answering these questions can save you hundreds of rating points. Believe me, trust me. So I want to make a summarize now with some golden rules. What is our golden rule? Material comes second. This is our golden rule. King safety and activity comes first. Don't become a pawn collector, please. Don't become a pawn collector. Become a chess player who understands the position. Like strong players don't grab every pawn for free. Strong players are suspicious. If someone offers him something, they will ask, why? Why he is giving me this? Whenever they see a free pawn, of course they will ask. They will start to think, why is this pawn is free? What will happen if I take this pawn? So answering these questions will be very, very, very important. So now I want to give you a final challenge. I want to give you a little task for you. The next time you play a game and see a free pawn, I want to ask you, don't touch it immediately. Take your hand away from the board and ask yourself the same 3 questions. Is my piece safe? What does my opponent want to do? And what changes if I take the pawn? Answer these questions correctly and then see you are able to take the pawn or no. Then you can make your decision. I promise you, if you start doing this, you will blunder less. You will defend better for sure, and you will win more games. And your rating for sure will improve. So, okay, we reached to uh, our final steps of our today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and join us for the next episodes of beginner mistakes under 1000 rating usually do. So, and tell me in the comments, please, this is very important for me. What is the most painful free pawn like you have ever taken in your games? Share me in the comments. I will read all your comments and maybe your story will appear in our future video. So, thank you so much. See you in our next lessons and videos. And remember, not every pawn is free. Bye bye.